Masters puts 1 to 4 heroic fighters up against evil gangs trying to control the world. It's made by the same guys behind last week's The Walking Dead No Sanctuary. There is so much to this. I'll keep things short and simple. I'll talk a bit about the expansions at the end to let you know if they're worth buying. Select a fighter deck and mini and put the double-sided card to the side. This will show your health, charge value, damage type, grapple, kick or punch, and basic action. You'll gain defense tokens during play. When you block the type of attack, flip the token to the power side. Once your fighter has the same number of power tokens as their charge value, trade them in and flip your card to the charged side. This is a powerful supercharged action you can now perform, but it's one and done. You'll flip back to the charging side afterwards. The fighter card's trait, ability, attack, or tactic is in the top right corner. Tactics stay in front of you when played, making later turns powerful. The other 2 are discarded after use. Some of these cards can do a different type of damage than your base type, meaning you have options when facing different enemies. Select an enemy deck and minis. The boss and minion cards are similar to the fighter character cards. Health in the top left, the number of white dice to roll for their attacks, and their starting defense tokens. Boss decks also can have tactic cards, plus gear, usually a powerful gun, and event cards, which have problems your fighters need to deal with. Select a stage map and deck. Follow the setup rules, and put the boss on the skull space, and the fighters on the joystick spaces. Put the tokens and dice nearby, and put out the loot crates. When you walk over a crate or defeat a minion, draw a loot card. They'll give you power, gear, tokens, and sometimes even heal. Decide which player will start. Draw an enemy card and resolve. If it's a minion, place it in front of you in your threat area or above your play area to resolve in a later phase. Cards are played and resolved left to right. Tactic and gear cards go on the boss. You can now move up to 3 spaces, play a card and do an action. Defend to gain a token, do the action effect on your card in your play area, interact with a stage objective, or sprint an extra 3 spaces. Once finished, resolve the activate ability of the cards in your threat area. If exhausted, meaning in effect turn the card sideways, turn it back to normal. Finally, draw a card, then flip your reference card over. Now the next player starts their turn. Turn order isn't fixed. Players will need to decide each round what order to perform their turns to maximize their chances to win. The white dice show grapple, kick, or punch. Enemies roll these to attack you. You'll also roll these when you are gaining random defense tokens. The red dice have a burst, shield, burst, and shield, and a critical symbol. Burst is a success, shield lets you gain the defense token matching the attack type, and a critical is a success that lets you roll again. There are stage and movement rules depending on everything in play, but this is a general idea. The stage rules show win and lose conditions. Play cards, maximize your turns, work as a team, and fight your way to the top in order to save the world. That's Street Masters. Street Masters takes up a lot of space, despite a smaller square board. There are tokens, minis, decks, and that's just for the enemies in stage, not your own things. Save this for a big table. This is a weekend game. We've played over a dozen times, and our average time is 2.5 hours, including setup and takedown. Setup is better than The Walking Dead No Sanctuary thanks to the box inserts. One of the designers posted a storage guide on YouTube, and we copied that. It works really well and saves a lot of time. You need to be able to do basic addition and subtraction, and more importantly, figure out how quickly to solve the game state and best use your cards. Analysis paralysis, or freezing when a decision needs to be made, will make this game last forever. This game is all about being smart and efficient. I've been playing games like this for years, and I know not every kid is like me. Even so, I don't think I would have been able to handle this last year at 7. I'd say save this for the average 10-year-old, but understand that some younger kids will be fine. We played a 4-player game with our friend Norm. We used the Under Destruction stage and chose Kimono and the Kingdom as our enemies. Now, let me explain Kimono for a second. He's like 10 feet tall, has 6 arms, and can make electricity. How could we possibly win? Well, Norm's Along dealt with baddies, Mom's Axel was awesome at disabling the bombs. Oh yeah, bombs. And my Reese did a bit of everything. Dad's Jackal would possess an enemy, then have them walk into the buzzsaws. Oh yeah, buzzsaws. He did this with Kimono too, and eventually we surrounded that monster, or whatever he is. We won, but it wasn't easy. Let's start with the bad. The game is usually fun and exciting, and sometimes worrying, but occasionally bad luck will put you in an unwinnable or an unlosable situation. I love hard co-ops, and this can be really tough. The fun part is learning the characters, stages, and enemies, then putting everything together in order to win. Every character is useful, but some work better in one situation than another. You can make things as hard or as easy as you want. That's before adding rivals and ally characters, which I didn't talk about, but are like an extra sort of character that can make the game easier and or harder. I'd like to see a star system like in Dice Throne that shows the difficulty of characters, stages, and enemy decks. This would make things easier to introduce to new people. This game is really good with 3 and 4 players. I don't like playing long solo games, and we haven't played 2 players yet, only because I feel bad if Mom and Dad had to sit for 2.5 hours while we played. I mean, I do it, but they might not be interested. You get a bunch of fun maps with their own rules, characters and enemies with their own decks, and nice components. What more could you want? How about story mode? And the story moves on whether you win or lose. And you gain new abilities, meaning upgraded cards for your deck. How cool is that? Last week, I reviewed The Walking Dead: No Sanctuary, which was also developed by Adam and Brady Sadler. Recorded in the summer, I said it'd be one of my top games if published by a better company. I don't need to imagine anymore. This is that tense, fun co-op I wanted, with great components, an easier setup and takedown, better rulebook, simpler rules, and tons of replayability. Now, I still really like No Sanctuary, don't get me wrong, I recommend it, but Street Masters has not only passed that game, it passed Kitchen Rush as my favorite co-op. Yeah, it's that good. I think this game sold out, but a reprint and sequel are supposed to be on Kickstarter later this year. If you're interested, keep an eye open for that. Let's talk about the expansions. The stretch goals were just Kickstarter exclusive allies and rivals, a few loot cards, and a mini expansion. I mean, more stuff is great, but of those, I'd only get the Pestilence mini expansion. The Legend of Oni Big Box, which is unfortunately Kickstarter exclusive, is highly recommended. Twin Tiger and the Redemption Pack are also highly recommended. The first 2 add storylines, characters, and so on. Redemption allows you to place all the boss characters with their own stories and decks. Fantastic stuff.